the bottom of all of the problems, first of all, in many places in the country, but particularly in the Northwest, has been this issue of poverty and people resenting their poverty and wanting to get up and do something about it. And we have heard people say that, look, if you address the plight, the situation of the citizenry, we might begin to make headway in terms of tackling insecurity. Yeah, we've heard that, and I know you certainly have. You were nodding in agreement there. How doable is this, given the extent of the problem? I mean, if the country could just shut down, take all resources, everything that we have, and face the Northwest and say it is because we want to remove the problem there, that's not a doable situation. So, are we therefore condemned to a continuation of this incessant banditry, kidnapping, cattle rustling?
No, I'm nodding in actually not in total. Well, I agree with Mr. Watawali, who was the former governor of Zamfara State.
Yes.
And my real concern is how much of how our politicians are able to sermonize and then also speak to the country as if, statements are made with that to people who suffer maybe some form of amnesia. Because we actually have a very clear understanding and also very recent, the history of the performance of Mr. Wasawali as the governor of Zamfara State. I mean, that was one of the states under him where, the whole form of militancy, banditry became also more pronounced and put Zamfara on the map of one of the most insecure states in the country. I mean, the BBC documentary on the complicity of also the state government while he was a state governor in that state is also more recent and is still there. If you Google, I mean, it's always a friend to get some of those information. There's also the record on the amount before he became also the Minister of State of the indictment by the EFCC on the amount of billions of naira that was also looted under the government, including vehicles that were moved out of government house when he was leaving office. I mean, these are the real causes. It is not just those, peasants, informants, and all the rest of that. Those could only exist and fester in such a system where this ground is laid by governors who have deliberately and consciously failed the system, refused to provide job for all these jobless young people and others who will, rather than get a decent job. How many jobs was created in Zamfara under the Mr. Watawali as a former governor to have engaged the jobless and unengaged young people in the states? How much of opportunities were created for businesses to thrive? So quite a number of them creates this system and this network, and at the same time the fertile ground for the insecurity to fester. And they deliberately also look the other way, like I said, because it provides them the opportunity to continue. Many of the governors that we talk about, they don't even live in the states. It was at some point that we always have local government chairmen. I mean, that is still also the experience and the situation. Who would become government chairman in the local government, and immediately they are elected, they relocate to local government outside their. I've really not seen that happening anywhere in the world except this country, that they relocate and live in other local government. Now, majority of the governors, particularly in the Northwest, don't stay in their states. They stay in Abuja and they live in Abuja. And it is only just once in a while that they visit the states. So these are very serious critical situations that we must, and like you said, we can't shut down the country, but it is possible for us actually to focus very seriously on many of our governors. Any of the states where you have the level of insecurity becoming not only intractable, I can assure you, and I think the system can always challenge some of us to that. The state governors are also almost nearly culpable. It doesn't take that long, for you to engage not only even the local capacity and system, including the available international one, to track some of this situation. But because it allows for there, and where you're unable to do it, you can point, identify, and also locate people that are behind it if it goes beyond capacity of the. The failure to do that, like I said, is still an indication of complicity of the leaders of the states.
Indeed. And worsening still,